When I started my AI automation business, I wasted the first couple months building what I thought was the perfect website. The website was generally super beautiful, it had a lot of animations, and it was really impressive, and I was showing it around to all my friends. But it failed to do the one thing that it should do, which is convert viewers into paying customers. And after I've done some research, I realized that the mistake that I was doing all this time was that I was building a super generic website rather than building a hyper personalized sales funnels. When you build a hyper personalized sales funnel, you can know exactly where the people are dropping off. You can change the copy and figure out exactly what is working and what is not working. Unfortunately, this process is super manual and it took me a long time to iterate over the different sales funnels because you need one sales funnel per service that you're offering. For example, if you're offering a webinar, you need one sales funnel. If you have consulting, you have a very specific funnel. If you have another productized service, I also created a dedicated sales funnel for that. So the process was taking me ages to figure out the copy, build the template, and launch these websites live. However, right now, it takes me about 5 minutes to build a funnel end to end by using Claude Code and just one prompt. And the secret to achieving this really good result was to connect Claude Code to Perspective, which is my favorite funnel builder tool, using their newly made MCP server. And by connecting them, I have now a fully dedicated AI funnel builder that is right here at my terminal. It writes me the funnel copy, it analyzes the metrics, it tells me exactly what to improve and where are the leads dropping, and it actually builds the pages for me. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to connect Claude Code to Perspective MCP. Then we're going to build a complete funnel from scratch together in under 5 minutes to show you how quickly this process have become so you can copy the exact workflow for yourself. So let's get into it. So the quickest way to add the Perspective MCP server is to go to your Cloud Desktop or Cloud Code, whatever you installed it, click on the Customize button, click on the connectors, and then with the plus, you can add a custom connector and you need to add the Perspective MCP server. So you need to add this URL. I'm going to add a link to it in the description so you can add it as well. After you added this custom connector here, you click on connect. And basically, after you log in into your account, you have fully authenticated and you can then use Perspective from your own terminal. So for the sake of this demo, I'm using Claude Code from my IDE terminal, which is Visual Studio Code. And then you can do the same thing as well. It does basically the same thing, but I just prefer using it because I'm a developer. So after you install it, you can check that you have an MCP server enabled by clicking here MCP server, and you can see that Perspective is connected. Now, the process to create a high converting funnel is as easy as just writing the following prompt. So I'm going to read it for you. I'm also going to add it in the description so you don't have to think about it or type it manually. So I just told Cloud Code that I need a funnel copy for a webinar registration page. So some of the funnels that I do is a webinar-based funnel where I advertise for the webinar. And in the webinar, I teach people about AI automation. In this case, it's a more focused webinar for salespeople. So I'm selling sales AI for sales automation. And I want to create a dedicated sales funnel for that. Then I can run ads against it, or I can funnel the people through using content. And I tell them that go and check the sales webinar if they're interested in this solution. So I told Cloud Code that I need a funnel copy for a webinar registration page. And then I gave it a little bit context about my business. So I'm an AI consultant helping B2B businesses automate their workflow. The webinar, it's going to be a 45 minutes free live session where I show business owners how to save 10 plus hours per week using AI automation in their sales process. And then I usually also add the target audience because this helps self-qualify the people. So we would have more qualified leads inside this webinar. These are B2B business owners and sales teams who are still doing manual outreach, manual follow-ups, manual CRM entry. They are busy, skeptical of AI hype, and want to see real results before they commit to anything. The goal is to get them to register to the webinar, and I want you to write me the following. I want you to write me a headline that call out the pain directly, which is one of the most efficient and high converting funnel copy is to write in the headline of your funnel exactly the pain that the customer is suffering from. I want you to write me a headline that tells me exactly what they'll get, that tell them exactly what they'll get, 4 bullet points on what they will learn, the benefit drivens, a short objection handling section, 2 to 3 sentences addressing, I've seen AI demos before, they never apply to my business. So this is also very important. Even if you're offering something for free, you need to write these objections which help people convert. And finally, the CTA, the call to action button, which is I need to get their contact information and I will send them the link for the webinar. Then I gave it some instructions about some of the themes that I want, and I wrote down, write a 5th grade reading level, short, punchy sentences, and a mobile first funnel to keep everything scannable. I also asked it to add 3 automation emails, 1 for misconception about AI in sales, and 2 emails on the day of the event, and another 5 minutes before we go live. So these are important, these reminder emails, to increase the show up rate, because usually for free events, you can expect up to 50% no show, which is kind of sucks if you're investing your own time and you spend also money on ads. So these automations are super important to kind of give people a little push to actually show up and not miss this kind of event. So finally, I told it to use the prospective MCP. So just to be sure that it's not going to mess this up, because sometimes it doesn't use the correct tool. And let's kick this up and see what's going to happen. By the way, for this experiment, I'm using the Opus 4.8 with the 1 million context. And usually whenever you fire up this prompt, it's going to ask you some of the questions about the funnels. And then after a couple of interactions, you would have the final result literally in 2 minutes. So now it's updating the to-dos, which is to explore the workspace and the brand, confirm the brand choice with the user. It needs to write the webinar registration and create the funnel in perspective, and as well the 3 automation emails. So basically everything that I told it. And now it's gonna call the perspective MCP. So we don't need to write any code. We don't need to do anything. It's literally doing all the work for us, which is really awesome. And the perspective MCP is managed by the MCP company. So we don't need to write any APIs, to any connections. This is the power of MCP servers. You don't need to be technical to use them. Just 1-click connection, and then the AI agent is able to understand their software and interact with it in a very natural language way. So now it was able to find out about the workspace. So it found out some of the funnels that I have, the name of my company, and now it's asking me a couple of questions. So it's asking me, which brand should I build this webinar funnel under? Should I create a new brand or use my initial brand, which is Neuronics? So if you're starting this new with perspective, probably you need to choose create a new brand and start to give the instructions about your new brand. For me, this is Neuronics. How should I handle the webinar date in the page urgency line? So I want to create it in 3 weeks from now, so I can start advertising for the events using content and ads. So I will say that in the others. So for example, 3 weeks from now on a Friday at 17 p.m. So it managed to find out Friday, July the 10th at 5 p.m. using Neuronics brand for the voice and overridden to white and blue, which is what I'll also ask. Let me read the remaining tools. I'll need sender, CRM properties, job status, and publishing. So it took about 1 minute to finish the whole draft. And let's see what it did. So it gave me here the link. So the registration page is built as a draft. Let's click on it and see how it looks like. So this was the end result of what Claude just did in literally one very simple prompt. Now, of course, if you need to adjust this to your own need, I would then talk again with Claude, ask it what it needs to do, and then iterate a couple times on that. You can also change it here with the edit mode and use also AI here to change what you need. But this already saves me a lot of time because it's also very specific to my own needs. So this is how it also would look like basically on someone's phone, where they can just write down basically their first name. I would capture it and then it would save their C. Now, if you go back to Claude Code, now it's asking me whether all these emails going to be sent out from my business email. So I'm going to say yes. And then it's asking if I want to keep it as a draft or publish it directly. So I'm going to say keep it as a draft for now. And once I'm happy, I can then just with 1 click publish it and start driving traffic towards it. So right now, as we see, the messages are still empty. So I'm going to go and ask Claude to add these automations for me. So I also don't need to configure a bunch of automations by myself. So Claude is here now working on creating the automations. So let's see what's going to end up happening now. So finally, Claude Code managed to add also the automations that I asked it to do. And it says here, here's the URL. There are some things to watch out for before we ran this. For example, it's warning me about a very specific limitation of the API where the delays are very specific to an anchor date. So that's something that I need to check and then fine tune before I publish. But that's basically the last couple of minutes before the actual funnel is live. Let's have a look to confirm it's all working. So here is the automation. So the first one, I need to verify my sender email still. And here is the first email that somebody would get after they register to the webinar. So some of the myth, I need to check this out. Of course, I'm not going to send out some AI generated email. And then after a delay of 1 day, which is, here is what Cloud Code was warning me for. So this is, we cannot send it after 1 day, and a delay of 8 hours. Again, this has to be then adjusted to be before the actual event. But Cloud Code has done already 80% of the work, which is really cool. Now I just need to go here and edit some of the stuff, or I can go there and ask it to do the stuff for me. And if I literally just click here, publish, the whole website is live and ready to take traffic. So that's it, a complete webinar registration funnel from the copy, the template, to pushing it live in under 5 minutes. Now, this used to take me months. And if I'm honest, the version that took me so much time was better looking than this one right now, but it did not convert any better, because I believe the number one thing that moves the needle in building funnels is the copy of the funnel. But this one has actually moved the needle for me, because every word in this funnel had one particular job, which is make the person move towards the call to action, which is register for a webinar and provide their personal information. So if you take one message out of this video, is that you need to stop wasting so much time building custom websites for your own AI automation business and start building more hyper specialized sales funnel to convert more customers into your business. Now, I added the link to Perspective in the description so you can go and use them with Cloud Code, build your first funnel, and set up the automated email follow-ups so that in your next webinar funnel does not have a 50% no-show like I did in the past. And if you're interested to see more videos about me building my other AI sales funnels and how I get customers in the AI consulting space, make sure to check other videos that I post. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you in the next video. Ciao.